My fiancée just said she's engaged to someone else. I'm lost. Not sure where to begin with this mess, but I need to get it out somehow here. I thought I knew exactly what my future looked like. Then, in one breath, the woman I was supposed to marry told me she was engaged to another man. My entire world shattered in that moment, and I couldn't stop the inevitable wreckage that followed. The TV was still blaring in the background, a football game I'd been half watching, but all I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears. Sarah sat there, perched on the edge of our couch, hands folded tightly in her lap, looking like a nervous wreck. You know that gut-wrenching feeling when your stomach just drops out? Yeah, that. She started with the classic, "We need to talk." And then, I ran into Liam a few weeks ago. I remembered Liam. High school. I muted the TV, my voice tight. What about him? She picked at her fingernails, not meeting my eyes. We've been talking since March. Just catching up at first, you know? Coffee, lunch. Old friends reconnecting. Something cold and heavy settled deep in my gut. Sarah, what are you telling me? The words tumbled out of her in a rush. He proposed 3 days ago. And I said yes. For a second, I thought I'd misheard her. I just stared, her face averted, but my eyes locked on the ring still sparkling on her finger, my asterisk ring, while she was telling me about another engagement. You said yes? My voice sounded foreign, thin, like it belonged to someone else. To another guy's proposal? It just happened, Noah, she whispered, finally looking up. Her eyes were tear-filled, but there was also this strange, almost excited glint, as if she expected me to be happy for her. We have so much history. It felt like fate, you know? Like we were meant to find each other again. I looked down at her hands, still wearing my ring. Take it off. What? Take off my ring. Right now. I stood up, and she actually recoiled, as if I might hit her. You don't get to wear my ring while you're engaged to someone else. No, wait. Let me explain. Explain what? My voice was rising, I couldn't help it. You've been cheating on me for months, and now you're engaged to him? What's left to explain? I wasn't cheating. We were just talking. Until when? I bid out. Until he put a ring on your finger? Jesus Christ, Sarah, the ring. Take it off. Her hands were shaking as she twisted it free. She held it out to me. Months of extra shifts, all to pay for that thing. I need you to pack a bag and leave, I said, taking the ring. Tonight. Give me an hour to go for a drive, and when I come back, I want you gone. Noah, please. Can't we just talk about this? Talk about what? You made your choice. Go be with your destiny, or whatever this is. Then I walked out. Her family started blowing up my phone almost immediately. Her mom texted me, saying I should be happy for Sarah's destiny, that true love finds a way. Her dad called me immature for not understanding the power of first love. Like I was the bad guy here, for not wanting to share my fiancé with her high school sweetheart. I've been staying at my sister Chloe's place for a few nights. She's been incredible, letting me crash in her spare room and mostly just listening when I need to vent. She thinks I did the right thing, but I kept second-guessing myself. The worst part was wondering how long this had really been going on. She said they started talking in March, but was she already checked out of our relationship before that? Were there signs I missed? I kept replaying conversations, searching for clues I should have picked up on. I'm an electrician in Denver, and I'd been pulling extra shifts since our engagement to build up our wedding fund. Sarah was a physical therapist downtown. We had a solid thing, living in a duplex near Lohi, talking about kids someday. Now, I could barely concentrate at work. My foreman asked if everything was okay because I apparently looked like hell during yesterday's safety meeting. I had no idea what to tell people when they asked. I'm 31. Most of my friends are married with kids, and I thought I was on that same track. Now I was crashing at my sister's, feeling like I was back in college. I blocked Sarah's number after her family started their guilt trip campaign. Yes, I kept the ring. I paid for it, so I might as well get something back. We got engaged in February. She started talking to Liam in March. Just 1 month after accepting my proposal, she was reconnecting with her ex. Make of that what you will. 3 weeks later, I was doing better. Still staying with Chloe, she said I needed the emotional support. I threw myself into work, picking up every overtime shift I could get. There's something therapeutic about running new electrical lines. Everything has a purpose, everything connects logically. No room for the emotional chaos I'd been dealing with. I got my ring back from the jeweler. They couldn't give me full price, but I got enough to upgrade some tools. I figured if I was starting over, I might as well invest in my trade. Chloe also suggested I volunteer with Habitat for Humanity on weekends. It's been good, getting back to basics, helping families who really need it. Then, things got even more bizarre. Last Friday, Sarah and Liam's engagement photos hit social media. Professional photographer, matching outfits, the whole production. Her mom shared them with some caption about true love conquering all. I only saw them because Chloe showed me. I'd already blocked Sarah everywhere. Sunday happened. I was heading to a Habitat build when my phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Sarah, using someone else's phone. The message was basically asking if I could help her with a few $1,000s to secure their wedding venue. Apparently, Liam was having cash flow issues with his construction business, and they were about to lose their deposit on some fancy place. But wait, it got better. She also asked if I could put my name on a rental agreement for their lighting setup because I could get a union discount. She wanted me to use my professional connections to help finance the wedding that was replacing me. The sheer audacity. I screenshotted the messages and sent them to Chloe before responding, needing someone else to confirm I wasn't losing my mind. Chloe confirmed it was as insane as I thought. I texted back, no. Find another way. You have a fiancé and both your family supporting this destiny. Figure it out. Then I blocked that number, too. But she didn't stop there. Tuesday night, a different number. Another message. This time, it was all about how I was a good person and how she knew I'd want to help because that's who I am. Like she was doing me a favor by giving me the chance to fund her new life. The messages kept coming. Different numbers, same basic request. Sometimes it was the venue deposit, sometimes catering, once about needing help with vendor contracts because Liam's credit wasn't great. Always framed like I should be grateful for the opportunity to be involved. At some point, I lost track of how many numbers I'd had to block. Chloe thought I should respond one more time, to make it crystal clear. She helped me draft something professional but firm. I sent it Thursday. I will not be providing financial assistance or professional services for your wedding. Do not contact me again through any method, or I will take legal action. I wish you well, but we're done. The thing that really got me was how she was positioning this. Like I was being unreasonable for not wanting to help plan and pay for the wedding that ended our relationship. Her family's messages all had the same tone, like I was petty and small-minded for not embracing this beautiful development in her life. I've been keeping records of all the contact attempts. Chloe suggested it, just in case. Work had been my saving grace. I got promoted to a lead position on a big hospital renovation project. Good pay, good crew, keeps my mind busy. The Habitat volunteering has been great, too. I met some solid people there, folks who've been through real hardship and come out stronger, which puts this whole situation in perspective. One of the regular volunteers, a woman named Evelyn who coordinates the program, mentioned they always need people with electrical skills. It's nice feeling useful again. I'm starting to see this as dodging a bullet rather than losing something. If someone can throw away 4 years that easily, they were never really committed in the first place. 6 months of silence from Sarah and her family. I'd actually started to think the whole thing was behind me. Work was great. Finished that hospital project, got another promotion, now I was training apprentices. The habitat volunteering turned into something more serious, too. Evelyn and I started grabbing coffee after build days. Nothing rushed, nothing dramatic, just two adults getting to know each other. She knew about my situation but didn't make it weird or try to fix me. Refreshing as hell after the emotional tornado I'd been through. I'd moved back into my apartment from Chloe's. Finally felt like I was starting to rebuild something good. I should have known it was too good to last. Last month, my buddy David texted me, asking if I'd heard about Sarah and Liam. I hadn't. Still had them blocked everywhere, so he filled me in. Turns out Prince Charming wasn't so charming after all. According to mutual friends, Liam had been cheating, not just once, but with multiple women over the past few months. Sarah found out when one of them contacted her directly with receipts, photos, hotel receipts, the works. When she confronted him, things got ugly fast. David said it was neighbors calling the police ugly. She ended up with a bruise on her arm and a police report. He said she moved back in with her parents, and the engagement was off. The whole destiny narrative her family had been pushing collapsed overnight. I'll admit, part of me felt vindicated. The guy who was supposedly her true love turned out to be exactly the kind of person you'd expect someone to be who convinces an engaged woman to leave her fiancé. But mostly, I just felt sad for her. Nobody deserves to get hit, no matter how foolishly they've been acting. But it wasn't my problem anymore. So, I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. 2 weeks ago, my voicemail started filling up. Sarah, using another number yet again, leaving long, rambling messages. The first few were apologies. She was sorry for how things ended. Sorry for the wedding requests. Sorry for everything. Then they shifted to her explaining what happened with Liam, like I needed the details. Then they got weird. She started talking about how she'd realized what she'd lost when she left me. How Liam made her see how stable and genuine I was by contrast. How she'd been blinded by nostalgia. And now she understood what real love looked like. Classic grass is greener, but in reverse. The messages kept coming, sometimes 2 or 3 a day. Always when I was at work, like she was timing them for when she knew I wouldn't answer. She'd go from apologetic to angry to desperate, sometimes within the same voicemail. One message really stood out. She said she'd been talking to her therapist about relationship patterns and realized she'd made a mistake. Said she wanted to explore the possibility of reconciliation, like we were negotiating a business deal instead of talking about the 4 years she'd thrown away for a guy who cheated and became violent when caught. I didn't respond to any of it. Chloe and Evelyn both said I was doing the right thing by staying quiet. But Sarah wasn't done. Last Saturday morning, I was having coffee with Evelyn on my apartment balcony when there was a knock at the door. Evelyn looked at me, I looked at her. Neither of us was expecting anyone. I opened the door, and there was Sarah, looking like she'd been crying. Before I could say anything, she launched into this speech about how sorry she was, how she'd made the biggest mistake of her life, how she wanted to work through this together. She looked terrible, thinner than I remembered, dark circles under her eyes, just defeated. Evelyn came up behind me, didn't say anything, just stood there. Sarah's eyes went to her, then back to me, and I could see the reality hitting her, that I'd moved on. That there was someone else in the picture. I kept it short. Sarah, I'm glad you're safe, and I hope you're getting help dealing with what Liam did to you, but we're done. That ended the night you told me you were engaged to someone else. She started crying, asking if we could just talk, just for a few minutes. I almost felt bad for her. But the woman standing at my door wasn't the same person I'd lived with for 2 years. Or maybe she was, and I'd just never seen this side of her before. I can forgive you for my own peace of mind, I told her. But that doesn't mean I'm taking you back. Please leave. She looked at Evelyn again, then back at me. Are you serious right now? You're going to throw away everything we built for someone you barely know? That's when it clicked. She didn't miss me or our relationship. She missed having me as a backup plan. When her upgrade fell through, she wanted to return to the stable guy who'd take care of her. The guy who'd work overtime to pay for her dreams and never cheat on her or hit her. I'm not throwing anything away, I said. You already did that. You made your choice. You chose what you thought would make you happier, and it didn't work out. That's not my problem to solve. Take care of yourself, Sarah. I closed the door. She knocked a few more times, tried calling my name through the door, but eventually left. Haven't heard from her since. Evelyn and I talked for a long time after that. She was incredible about the whole thing. Didn't make it about her. Didn't ask a bunch of questions, just listened when I needed to process what had happened. We've been taking things slow, but she's become really important to me. She's got her own life, her own career. Doesn't need me to complete her or fix her or fund her dreams. Just wants to build something good. Together. Sarah's family hasn't contacted me since everything fell apart with Liam. No more texts about destiny or true love. Funny how that works. I'm in a good place now. Better than good, actually. Work's going great. I'm making a real difference with Habitat. And Evelyn and I are talking about getting a bigger place together next year, maybe with a little yard where I can finally try my hand at gardening. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is having someone show you exactly why you deserve better. 3 months later, there was one last weird chapter. Harper and I found a great 2-bedroom place with a small balcony where I've been trying to grow tomatoes and peppers. Turns out I'm decent at it. Work's been solid, too. I got selected to lead the electrical team on a new apartment complex project, a big step up. The apprentices I'm training are good kids. But last weekend, one final visit from the past. Saturday morning, Evelyn and I were having breakfast when there was a knock at the door. I looked through the peephole and saw Sarah with an older woman I recognized as her mother. My stomach literally dropped. I'd hoped we were past all this. Evelyn saw my face and asked if I wanted her to answer the door. I love that about her. She doesn't try to control situations, she just offers support and lets me decide. I opened the door, and Sarah's mom immediately started talking. Something about how they'd both done a lot of soul-searching and wanted to clear the air. Sarah looked better than she had a few months ago, healthier, like she'd been taking care of herself, but there was still something desperate in her eyes. Noah, her mom said, Sarah has something she wants to tell you. Sarah stepped forward and started what sounded like a rehearsed speech. She talked about therapy, recognizing her patterns, understanding now what she'd thrown away. According to her, she'd already checked out of her relationship with Liam even before finding out about the affairs, even before the physical altercation. By then, she had already realized her mistake. Standard stuff. Then came the ask. She wanted to know if I'd be willing to start fresh, not get back together immediately, but maybe grab coffee sometime and see if there was still something worth saving. Her mom jumped in to say how Sarah had grown so much and learned to appreciate stability. Evelyn was in the kitchen, close enough to hear, but giving me space to handle it. I could feel her presence, but she wasn't hovering. I looked at Sarah for a long moment, then at her mom. I'm going to be completely honest with both of you, I said. Sarah, you didn't realize what we had was special. You realized the new guy didn't work out, and you wanted to come back to your backup plan. There's a difference. Sarah started to interrupt, but I kept going. You don't miss me. You miss the idea of having someone who won't hurt you or cheat on you. But that's not love. That's just wanting security. And I'm not interested in being anyone's safe option. Her mom got defensive. Noah, that's not fair. She made a mistake. But people grow and change. You're right, I said. People do change. I changed. I learned that I deserve someone who chooses me first, not someone who settles for me after their first choice doesn't work out. I looked at Sarah again. I forgive you for my own peace of mind, but we're not getting back together. Not now, not ever. You're going to be fine. You'll figure your life out, but you'll figure it out without me. Sarah's eyes filled up with tears. So that's it? 4 years means nothing to you? Those 4 years meant everything to me at the time, I said. But they ended the night you told me you were engaged to someone else. What happened after that isn't on me. Evelyn appeared beside me then, not possessively, just naturally, like she belonged there. She didn't say anything to Sarah or her mom, just put her hand on my shoulder. That's when it really hit Sarah, I think, that I wasn't just rejecting her. I was actively choosing someone else. Someone who'd never asked me to be anything other than myself. They left after that. No dramatics, no final pleas, just 2 women walking back to their car, probably finally understanding that some bridges can't be rebuilt once they're burned. Evelyn and I spent the rest of the morning working in our little garden. She didn't ask for details about the conversation or need reassurance about our relationship. She just handed me the watering can and asked if I thought the tomatoes were ready for bigger pots. That evening, I got a text from Chloe. Apparently, word had gotten around about Sarah's visit, and she wanted to check on me. How do you feel? She asked. Honestly, I felt lighter, like I'd finally closed a door that had been hanging open for months. Chloe told me later what she'd heard through mutual friends. Apparently, Sarah's whole social circle had turned pretty cold after everything came out. People don't like being made to look foolish, and a lot of them had defended her true love story publicly. Her family went quiet on social media after months of posting about destiny and God's plan. Her mom, who'd been so vocal about Sarah's growth and lessons learned, stopped showing up to community events where she might run into people who knew the whole story. Sarah ended up moving to Austin for a fresh start. New job, new apartment, new everything. Sometimes that's what it takes when you've burned through all your credibility in one place. A few days later, Evelyn and I were talking about getting a dog. Nothing crazy, just a medium-sized mutt from the shelter. Maybe something good with kids, since we both volunteer with Habitat and there are always families around. The conversation was easy, natural, full of possibilities instead of complications. That's where I'm at now. Building a life that feels like home with someone who wants to build it with me. No drama, no second-guessing, no wondering if I'm someone's first choice or backup plan. Have you ever had to draw a line like that, even when it hurt?